could get bad for him. Of course, he prayed for the best with him, you know, hope for the best. And he even had a few more mishaps in between with the baby mom and all that type of shit, but he got past all that.
Like trips to prison, trips to jail, getting arrested does not look good for you. And the fact that you've had similar charges in the past and, you know, other videos and other arrests and mugshots, it just don't look good. It looks like almost like a repeat offender.
Just domestic violence, his hands are registered. His hands are considered deadly weapons.
Right.
So he is going to be considered like assault with a deadly weapon as well, other than...
Is this the final chapter for Gervonta "Tank" Davis? With fresh legal troubles once again making headlines, an increasing number of fans are starting to question whether this might truly be the end of his boxing career. Davis has in the past admitted to needing therapy, openly acknowledging struggles with his own behavior, and at times appearing to take responsibility for his actions. Yet now, without having faced Devin Haney or fulfilled several other highly anticipated fights, he stands at the edge of possibly walking away from the sport entirely. His repeated run-ins with the law not only threaten to strip him of career-defining opportunities, but also risk tarnishing the legacy he's worked years to build, perhaps even bringing it all to an abrupt halt.
Right, so Tank is on probation for that. So this will be a violation of his probation, but he's a celebrity. Nothing's going to happen. It's going to get a slap on the wrist. He has money and stuff like that. Now, the question I have is this: you know, what's going to happen with the Lamont Roach, rematch? Will that fight still go on? Do you get what I'm saying? Now, I don't expect Tank Davis fans to, you know, they're gonna brush it off like it ain't nothing, because that's what they do. They literally, a lot of them worship this guy. So, and I get it, I understand. However, will that fight still go on? That's probably why we haven't heard anything. I was listening to Blue Blood Sports TV, but then when I was listening to his video, guess what? I'm finna show y'all something. Now, some of y'all may say, oh, this is nothing. There's a podcaster that I watch all the time by the name of Ticket TV. I watch a lot of the big podcasters, right? Podcasts, right? I want y'all to see something. Y'all see this right here. Let me show y'all this. As you can see right here, Ticket TV is talking about this. And the title is this: Breaking News, Boxing Superstar Gervonta "Tank" Davis arrested for beating up women, beating up woman.
In professional sports, the expectations placed upon public figures extend far beyond their in-ring performances. Athletes at the top level are expected to maintain a standard of conduct that reflects both professionalism and personal responsibility. For Gervonta Davis, recent events have once again put his private life under a harsh public spotlight, especially due to incidents involving the mother of his child. Even when confrontations are not physical, the public perception of an athlete's actions carries immense weight. When someone in Davis's position is seen as possibly misusing their influence or physical presence in non-sport settings, the public reaction can escalate rapidly. Given the recurrence of such incidents and the people involved, the scrutiny this time has been both intense and widespread.
Bodily harm to her. Davis was arrested about an hour after the alleged incident and booked on a domestic violence battery charge. Jail records show he's still in police custody. Davis is scheduled to fight Hector Luis Garcia in a much-anticipated boxing match on January 7th in Washington, D.C.
Well, that's not happening. I mean, it's not going to happen, bro. He's not going to fight.
That fight probably canceled.
The fight's going to cancel and his sponsorship. If he's fought, I mean, you can't find him guilty right now, but I'm assuming he's going to get a great lawyer. He has money.
Do we know who the woman is? Because I saw some headlines that said baby mama. And I know what we just read it wasn't specific.
That's what I thought it said too. Yeah.
Like yesterday, right?
Yeah.
When the reports came out.
And that's not even just a domestic violence. His hands are registered. His hands are considered deadly weapons.
Right.
So he is going to be considered like assault with a deadly weapon as well, other than domestic violence.
That's fact.
And that never goes good for a boxer, ever.
For it to be domestic violence, though, one thing that Flacco taught me in Suspect was that if it says domestic violence, then that's somebody that you were in a relationship with.
You didn't know that?
Over the years, Davis has weathered a series of incidents that have tested not only his public image, but also his ability to remain fully focused on his craft. In the past, his strong earning power and access to skilled legal teams have helped him navigate these storms without suffering permanent damage to his career. However, the latest situation feels different, more serious, due to the repetition and pattern of similar troubles. The justice system takes prior occurrences into account when addressing new allegations, and this time, that history could invite a firmer and less forgiving response. Even some of his most loyal supporters are beginning to worry that the path forward may be more complicated and far less forgiving than in years past.
This couldn't come at a worse time for Tank. Of course, he's chasing that rematch with Lamont Roach and that big money Netflix fight with Paul. And this case could potentially cancel both of these fights. For the Roach rematch, it's just kind of been assumed that this fight is happening in mid-August. Everyone has seemed to acknowledge that it's happening, yet there's been no official announcements. Why has there been no official announcements? Well, maybe they were/are waiting to see what happens with the case. They have known that this was gonna probably come out for the last month, so maybe they were either bracing for impact or hoping it could be all sorted out. But we're now about a month out from the proposed rematch, and time is running out. Every day that goes by, it looks less and less likely, and the news today certainly won't instill any hope. Even if the rematch does happen, the conditions are about as bad as they can get for Tank. In what might be the highest pressure fight of his career, he won't have a complete camp and would have legal proceedings hanging over his head. Combine this with the fact that he seemed a bit rattled and emotional after the draw. It's either a combination for a great performance or a combination for an absolute train crash.
Moments like this often serve as mirrors, forcing individuals to confront uncomfortable truths about themselves. Many observers believe this could be a decisive turning point in Davis's personal and professional life. While hardship can sometimes lead to growth and wisdom, there is growing concern that previous experiences have not yet resulted in a meaningful change in his approach to life. The repetition of similar missteps reinforces that belief. Without a conscious and sustained shift in mindset, the consequences ahead may not only derail his career but also compromise his ability to maintain stable relationships and fulfill personal responsibilities outside the ring.
Facing, and he knew shit could get bad for him. Of course, he prayed for the best with him, hope for the best. And he even had a few more mishaps in between with the baby mom and all that type of shit, but he got past all that. But that shows his maturity level too, because he kept his head together through all that shit. You know what I mean? So here we at the finishing line with the trouble. I just want him to finish smart and, you know what I mean, and do what he gotta do. Get what he gotta get, you know what I mean?
Given the nature of the current charges and their connection to past incidents, Davis's legal position is becoming increasingly precarious. When a person is repeatedly linked to similar allegations, the legal system often interprets that pattern as a reason to impose stricter penalties. Legal analysts suggest that the judge in this case may decide to take a far more severe stance, especially if the evidence appears consistent with past events. Prior history can erase the leniency that might have been available before. In the sports world, legal decisions carry consequences beyond the courtroom, potentially affecting public perception, sponsorships, fight negotiations, and even a fighter's ability to compete at the highest level.
Boxing champion Gervonta "Tank" Davis has been arrested and charged with battery in South Florida. Police allege the Baltimore native assaulted his ex-girlfriend during an argument on Father's Day in Doral, Florida. Davis was arrested and booked by Miami Beach police, and a judge set his bond at $10,000. This is the latest in a long line of run-ins with law enforcement for the World Boxing Association lightweight champ. In 2023, Davis pleaded guilty to 4 traffic offenses in connection with a hit-and-run that injured 4 people in Baltimore. He spent more than 6 weeks in jail after a judge found out he was serving out his home detention at the Four Seasons Hotel Baltimore and a penthouse condo in Locust Point. Davis has also previously faced allegations of domestic violence, though none of those cases against him have resulted in convictions. We have more on this story on thebaltimorebanner.com.
Those inside the boxing community have voiced concern that the extreme pressures of being a top-tier professional fighter may be affecting Davis in ways that go beyond physical fatigue. The relentless training demands, the constant scrutiny from the media, and the mental sharpness required to compete at an elite level leave little space for personal balance. For a young athlete managing both fame and private struggles, it's possible the spotlight has begun to cloud his decision-making. Supporters hope that with time away from the ring, or with the right kind of professional guidance, Davis might be able to find the mental stability needed to rebuild his career and his personal life in a healthier, more sustainable way.
Gervonta Davis just got arrested for domestic violence, but this isn't the first time either. Could this have anything to do with what boxing does to your brain? Let's talk about it. So Gervonta Davis has been caught up in legal trouble and domestic violence allegations multiple times over the past few years. See, boxers take repeated hits to the head, not just during their big fights, but while they're sparring throughout training camp as well. Over time, that can cause CTE, a brain disease that messes with memory, emotions, and can cause aggression. CTE can show up in the form of slurred speech or even mood changes. So honest question for y'all is, do you think Gervonta Davis' violence outside of the ring could be linked to CTE? Is this a hidden cost of boxing? I want to hear your thoughts.
Public opinion is heavily influenced by patterns, and in Davis's case, the recurrence of these challenges has left many fans openly disappointed. The frustration isn't just about the incidents themselves, it's also about the choices to maintain relationships and connections that have repeatedly led to negative headlines. From a career management perspective, these decisions carry huge risks. If personal associations consistently generate damaging publicity and legal trouble, they can impact everything from fight scheduling to endorsement deals. Fans and analysts alike are calling for better judgment, hoping that Davis will prioritize his future over repeating past mistakes.
Gervonta Davis is back on the news, and y'all know I'm a Tank fan, but at this point, dude, I can't even support this guy no more. Gervonta Davis arrested at 3:35 a.m. in the morning in Miami for battery and domestic violence charges. I've seen stuff like this from Tank in the past, and everybody try to look past it, but dude, what are we doing? You got everything in the world, all the money, mega fights, you got all the money, you never have to worry about anything ever in the rest of your life. Why are we doing this? Like, I understand he's from a tough background and everything, but at some point you gotta grow up. You're arguably the biggest name in boxing with all these people looking up to you, especially kids looking up to you, talking about, I want to be like Gervonta Davis, and this is what they see. I don't know what went down, but I see the news article and I just can't support Tank no more. My favorite damn fighter, one of them besides Terence Crawford. But I don't know what y'all think about the whole situation. I'm just like, man, what are we doing? I guess we're not gonna get the Lamont Roach fight now. I don't know, I know he was on probation before and it was gonna be another great fight, and it's just crazy, man. But what do y'all think about this, and you guys think he actually did it, and are you guys still gonna support Tank after this?
Davis has previously expressed the desire to be remembered as more than just an in-ring champion. In past interviews, he has talked about maturing as a person and being a stable, positive figure in his child's life. At times, he has even hinted at walking away from boxing entirely, trading the intensity of the sport for a quieter, more peaceful existence. Although those thoughts have not been publicly reaffirmed recently, his current situation could reignite them. Whether or not he decides to fight again, the steps he takes in the coming months will be critical in defining how he is remembered, both as a fighter and as a man.
What's good, YouTube? Crown Jewel from Crown Jewel Boxing, back with a gem. Checked out the press conference yesterday. Watched the Rise podcast. 2 days ago, watched the Rise podcast response to it yesterday. And I just have to say, I see a lot of people think that, Tank is bluffing with the retirement talk. Could be. I doubt it, though. And I'm going to tell you why I doubt it. When he talked about wanting to seek therapy and the person he has to be in order to be the fighter that he is, and wanting to be a softer person, for his daughters, wanting to seek therapy, become a better person, to be with his children and lead the limelight. It seemed like a lot of emotion and passion in that. He seemed like he really meant what he was saying. There's a lot that comes with not only boxing, because, all fighters deal with certain things with being a boxer, physically and mentally. But he has to deal with being a celebrity, an international star on top of that. And I can't even imagine that pressure. So, things get old, your whole life gets scrutinized, no matter what moves he makes, it's going to be accepted by some and, ridiculed by others. And some people grow tired of it. Living a public life ain't for everybody. He's been tremendously successful, whatever he decides to do. I wish him well. I think we need to, watch this Lamont Roach fight closely, because we've seen this in the past when Mike Tyson talks about his heart no longer being in it. Or, you heard Buddy McGirt recently come out and say, the fire left him, while he was in camp in the middle of a run. I mean, it happens. And, we don't know how it's going to affect him as a fighter. I would hope, he could find it in himself to be motivated and get prepared, and be the best version of himself. Because, as a Tank fan, I don't want to see him in the ring in any other capacity. If he can't bring himself to be the best version of himself, then I think he should walk away. But regardless of what he decides to do for people like myself,
Some analysts have begun questioning whether Davis's long-term relationship with the mother of his child is healthy for either party. Over the past 4 years, this relationship has been at the center of multiple high-profile legal matters, creating repeated instability in both of their lives. When a personal connection continues to result in public and professional turmoil, it becomes a point of concern not only for family members but also for career advisors and business partners. The growing consensus within boxing circles is that, in certain situations, separation is the wiser choice when harmful patterns refuse to change.
Sensation Gervonta Davis has been arrested on domestic violence charges. And this is not the first time that he has been here. I'm not sure if it's with the same young lady. Her name is Vanessa, who he shares a daughter with, and I believe she was carrying another child with him. This situation is just sad because, you know, when you're a boxer, your hands are legal. So you're not supposed to be getting into brawl fights with anybody unless you're in the ring, because his hands are considered legally a weapon. And if you ever seen him fight, you know that this boy hits hard. So him hitting a female, it's like, whoa. But yet again, we don't know people's situations. Even though it's never okay to hit a female, we just don't know what happened between these two folks. I think that after this, he should just leave that girl alone, because if this is with her again, this is the second time that he gets arrested for domestic dispute with the same girl. And I just don't think that they should be together. Somebody that's with you is supposed to bring the best out of you, not the worst. If you're constantly in a situation where you're arguing, fighting, putting your hands, you feel like a monster with somebody, then maybe that person, you shouldn't be with them. But prayers for Gervonta, because even though he is in the wrong, you know, we don't know what wars, what demons people are fighting in the inside, and you could clearly see that he was very upset. If there's more information on the story, I will be relating, but this just sucks for Gervonta, honestly. It's like, he has it all, the money, the fame, biggest boxer in the game right now, but he's always in legal problems, and especially for domestic issues. This is just...
As the date of his next court hearing draws closer, the entire boxing industry is watching closely. The repetition of similar incidents has cast a shadow over Davis's professional credibility, threatening his ability to secure major fights or sponsorships. In a sport where image and personal conduct matter as much as performance, ongoing legal troubles can become career-defining obstacles. The more frequently these issues arise, the more they shape the narrative around an athlete, making it harder for the public to separate his talent from his personal choices. The outcome of this case could determine not just the resolution of one legal matter, but the direction of Davis's entire career.
Inspired, I don't know any of the details. This is the information that is available to us as of this recording. So again, I'm saying unfortunate news because Tank Davis is scheduled to fight, and he's scheduled to fight in 11 days, and it's almost midnight my time, Pacific Standard Time. So that means really 10 days. Does this affect in any way? Will this affect Tank Davis and his fight? You know, I don't know. I don't know all the details, but we've seen stuff like this happen before in the past. And since it's so fresh, today being December 27th, I don't think it will impact or, you know, postpone his fight or anything like that, because it'll be too quick to go to trial or anything like that. However, some would wonder, could this affect him mentally, right? You left Mayweather Promotions, you're your own boss, doing your own thing, so this is your first foray into that. You have a difficult Olympian in terms of Hector Luis Garcia that you're getting ready to fight, a little bit taller and bigger than you. And, you know, now you have something in the background. This, I can't say it's news to Gervonta Davis in terms of him having little run-ins, because he had a run-in with some type of vehicular hit and run.
In the days before his latest controversy became public, Davis was active on social media, posting cryptic and reflective messages that hinted something significant might be coming. Some interpreted these posts as an attempt to express his state of mind, while others saw them as an effort to frame the narrative before events unfolded. In modern sports, social platforms have become a place for athletes to speak directly to their audience and shape public perception. However, no amount of online messaging can replace genuine accountability and change, both of which will be necessary if Davis wants to truly move forward.
Gervonta Gervonta Davis is getting locked up again, my people. He posted about a lawyer and said, still haven't helped me with my case. Shaking my head, then posted, treating me like I done bodied somebody. I can't do nothing. The last time I went to court, the city trying to find me for $25K. Damn, $25K? What you do, my boy? And if they treat you like you bodied somebody, then you definitely getting locked up, my boy. This must be what Lamont Roach was trying to tell us when he said Gervonta Davis will cancel the fight, my people. He said, laugh out loud. Buddy, no, damn well, I don't mess around like that. He gassing y'all up to justify why he ain't do his part of the deal yet. He really might pull out of this fight. Stay tuned. Is this what he meant about Gervonta Davis pulling out the fight? Because he might be getting locked up, my people. He got this court problems that he has to resolve, so he hasn't even done his part yet. He's doing all the talking on Instagram. He's doing all the talking on Twitter. This is what Lamont Roach saying. He's doing all the talking everywhere else, but it's just to justify the reason that he might not even show up to the fight. He might have to pull out and cancel that fight, my people. We all know Gervonta Davis has had several legal issues, you feel me? Allegedly, my people. Hopefully, this ain't one, because in boxing, I don't know if we really care about that. We just want to see the fight happen, you feel me? We don't care about all the shenanigans. So all I'm saying is that hopefully he ain't getting locked up, because we want to see that rematch. And we don't want nobody getting locked up, you know what I'm saying? We want you in the ring. We want you to get that get back. And if he don't get that get back, it's like his excuse. He trying to go to jail on purpose. Don't be posting about the court online, my boy. Do what you gotta do, resolve that, and get back to the gym and do this rematch with Lamont Roach. But this would be an upset for everybody if it ends up being canceled, because he has to go to court, or he has to go back to getting locked up, or he gotta pay some type of fines, because there's always something, my people. And Lamont Roach kind of hint at that, you feel me? He let us know, yo, my man talking, but he ain't do his part of the deal yet. And it's been a couple months, and everybody's saying the fight is for sure. But how Lamont Roach saying that your boy ain't do the other part of the deal yet? How does that even happen?
That's all for today's update. Stay tuned for further developments as this situation unfolds.